Probably looking at me right now, you're probably asking yourself, or asking me, I should say, Samuel, have you been drinking? No, I have not. But then you're also probably asking, Samuel, are you hungover? And still, no, I am not inebriated in any sort of way. I just wanted to wear sunglasses for the intro of this video to try and throw you guys off. And if it didn't throw you off, that's cool. You don't get a medal, though, at all. And if it did throw you off, you definitely don't deserve a medal. Go back to school. Okay, I'm done with that. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel. My name is Fatbat Jedi, so I'll be your host. At this time of recording, I should also say it's 8:42. So still trying to wake up. I mean, I woke up like what, 7:30, so I should be awake. But also, to be fair, I'm a slow waker. Anyway, so today we're gonna try to shift to a Star Wars news topic to give you guys a little bit of background about my history, a little bit of Star Wars, like how it has affected my life. I've been a lifelong fan of Star Wars, pretty much. Or at least I won't say lifelong. I've been a fan of Star Wars for pretty much my entire life. I think it was either 4, 5, or 6 years old is when I was first introduced to Star Wars. Because my dad, I'm 24, I should say. I was around when Blockbuster and VHS was still a thing, kid. My dad and my mom were both born in the 70s, so they got to see the original trilogy in theaters. My dad picked up Star Wars: A New Hope from a Blockbuster store. And we watched it, and I was mesmerized. Fox had the distribution rights for the movies, and I think Fox owned Spike TV. Spike TV would often do reruns of the movies, like every so often, but I know a lot of the times, like my memory specifically is that they would always do it during Christmas time. And I remember because my dad was out of town for work one time, and so it was me, my mom, and my brother, and we watched Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi on the same night. I was mesmerized by it. I thought they were so good. Empire and Return of the Jedi are the top 2 Star Wars films that I really enjoy, and grew up with the prequel trilogy. And you know what? I say it, but I do think at times a lot of what people say is overhated about the prequels. I do agree that there are definitely some things that I would not have done, or I would have done differently. But also, you have to remember, George Lucas is a crazy man. If you've listened to his director's commentary of Attack of the Clones, I haven't listened to the director's commentary of it in a long time, but he said, if you think about it, Attack of the Clones is really R2-D2's story. It doesn't make sense. Again, George created a very great franchise, really revolutionized movies and how movies have to be made, and did create some of the amazing defining lore of the Star Wars universe. But George has also said a lot of contradictory things that don't make sense at all, or have said some things that I don't necessarily agree with. But that's a topic for another day. I grew up with this Star Wars show, Star Wars The Clone Wars, or to kind of shorten it a little bit, I'll just call it TCW, probably in most of my videos, which I want to say as well, I know that sometimes TCW is used in a derogatory term, like kind of talk down on it, because some people do, because of them being original Clone Wars micro series hardliners, which I do actually also enjoy the micro series as well. But some people, I'm not saying everybody does, because there's also a lot of people that do respect the show that are in that ballpark, but there are some people that do say TCW, in my opinion, kind of be offensive towards it, but that's just my opinion, and that's the way that I look at it. I could be wrong with how people are referring it to that, but that's not what I try to do. But for the sake of whenever I talk about it, I will refer to Clone Wars as just TCW. But I grew up with all of the original 5 seasons, and then watched the 6th season when it came out on Netflix, and then obviously you can't say that you didn't watch the 7th season on Disney Plus, because we were all in lockdown by that time. So I watched that. I would stay up late every night to wait for the episode to come out on Disney Plus to watch the whole thing. I grew up playing a whole bunch of the video games, obviously the most important one being the Lego Star Wars Complete Saga. Grew up playing Knights of the Old Republic. I played Star Wars The Old Republic, the MMO, Star Wars Republic Commando, Star Wars Republic Heroes, Star Wars The Force Unleashed, both 1 and 2. Force Unleashed 2 is not good. There is some reasons, but still not good. Both Battlefronts from both Pandemic Studios and also EA, or DICE, I should say. And then I have read a boat ton of Star Wars lore from a bunch of the different eras. Most of my interest isn't necessarily all the military-based novels. Most of my, even though there are obviously wars that are going on in each era of the books or of the universe, my interest mostly lies within the aspects and mysteries of the Force. Like, my brother is big into the military aspect of Star Wars, which is fine, because again, Star Wars is a vast universe that everyone can enjoy. Everyone can find something. My interest more or less lies with the concepts and realities of the Force, such as my fascination with lightsaber combat, my fascination with different Force-wielding organizations, the philosophies behind the Jedi, philosophies behind the Sith. So this is going somewhere because I want to make things clear about. I know some of my stuff, and while I have been someone that is kind of a hardliner for also the original continuity before Disney, I have kept, I'll say not as every say. I did at some point try to keep up with the current Disney canon. Probably my favorite Disney canon book, and I say this unironically, my favorite Disney canon Disney Star Wars canon novel is Star Wars Brotherhood. That book is actually really good. It would be a really good episode for TCW. If even that was actually what went on in the TCW movie, and then have the TCW movie be what it originally was supposed to be, which is like the first 4 or 5 episodes of the series. That's just my opinion. Point is, I know my way around Star Wars pretty well. Okay, today what I want to talk about is specifically, and I'm going to pull it up right now. This I'm pulling up right now is an article from Deadline, and yikes. But I will say, this doesn't surprise me. I also should preface this. Since The Acolyte came out this past summer, I have genuinely not kept up with what is currently going on with the franchise in terms of what projects are coming out. I knew Skeleton Crew was coming out. I had no intentions to watch it. I had intentions to watch it before like watching The Acolyte, but The Acolyte came out before Skeleton Crew, and I was like, I'm done. I'm not watching any more of Disney Star Wars content. And what sucks is that, like, the only way I can watch like the original saga, the original 6 movies, and like the stuff I like is on Disney Plus. But the problem is that I don't want to give them viewership, but I want to still watch those, so I bite the bullet, because like I'll be willing to do this. I will be willing to watch like the original 6 movies, TCW, original micro series, both the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian, because the 3rd season was terrible, and the Ahsoka series. And that's it. I don't really have any interest to watch anything else related to Disney after watching The Acolyte and just the atrocious writing that came from it. But again, what can you do when you hire people that don't know a single damn thing about the franchise? Okay, let's get right into this. Alright, James Mangold doesn't want to be handcuffed to Star Wars lore with upcoming prequel. Yes, so James Mangold is supposed to be the director for an upcoming Star Wars film titled Dawn of the Jedi, which we'll talk about that in a second. But let's read it a little bit. As James Mangold makes his mark on a galaxy far, far away... Sorry, that was terrible. Far, far away. With his upcoming Star Wars installment, he's emphasizing the long time ago part of the setting. The two-time Oscar nominee, who is set to co-write and direct Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi, recently teased that his prequel will aim to find a way on the page to say something original about the origin of the Force without relying too much on the franchise's established lore. Oh my Jesus. Okay. I'm gonna keep going through this article, and then I will have I'll say my opinions in a second. Not a second, you know what I mean. To me, the really important aspects are the freedom to make something new. Screenwriter Beau Willimon and I, in relation to Star Wars, have been working on a script, and we'll see what happens, he told MovieWeb. The Star Wars movie would be taking place 25,000 years before any known Star Wars movies take place, added Mangold. It's an area and playground that I've always wanted to explore and that I was inspired by as a teenager. I'm not interested in being handcuffed by so much lore at this point that it's almost immovable and you can't please anybody. First announced at 2023's Star Wars Celebration in London, the project is based on the 2012 comic series about the origins of the Jedi. A release date of the film has not been released. Which, on that note as well, there's also a book titled Dawn of the Jedi. So, yeah, there's also a book titled Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi as well. It's not just a comic book series. This is also its own novel as well. This novel, in my opinion, is really, really bad. I just find it to be extremely underwhelming. Willimon, who previously earned an Emmy nomination for his writing on the Star Wars series Andor, was announced as Mangold's co-writer in April. Okay, so there's a lot to dissect here. So something that I want to point out about James Mangold, his most recent banger with Lucasfilm, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Worse than Crystal Skull. Crystal Skull is so much better than this movie, by a long shot. What can I say about this? Okay, so here's my opinion. So he is doing his movie that is set 25,000 years before the movies, which is fine. It's fine. It's appropriate to use that setting. And he's wanting to do something original about the origin of the Force without relying too much on the franchise's established lore. He technically can do that. It's fine if he wants to do an original film about the origin of the Force, which I'll just be honest with you, I don't think you need to do anything that changes the origin about the Force. But when he's talking about not relying too much on the franchise's established lore, is he referring to like the entirety of the Star Wars lore since its inception, or is he just talking about since Disney took over? And that's the part that I don't know. So in my opinion, like I said, it's fine if he wants to do some lore changing, because again, there has been always changes in the lore about the Force even before Disney, but it was small retcons or continuity errors that were then always justified and explained. The only thing that I'm not sure about is if he's talking about the established lore again from Disney Star Wars, or from the beginnings in Star Wars was first ever created. That is the part that I don't know. But either way, it's going to piss a lot of people off because we already have our idea and also kind of the origin of the Force, kind of. So you're going to piss off people who have known about it since before Disney. They're also going to give, though, these YouTubers who call out Disney on their shit, ammunition, since they can't follow their own stuff. Like they create so many continuity errors that it's ridiculous. It's way worse than you guys would actually think. Okay, so I don't know. So that's my opinion about this whole thing. Again, if he's gonna make this movie and he's gonna change things about the lore, that's fine. I will say this, though. If he's not wanting to follow the established lore, that is also what's going to make this movie kind of get screwed over. So, in my opinion, his idea of doing that is not following the lore, the established lore. In my opinion, it's a terrible idea, and I feel like you should. I guess tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. I also want to apologize for like last week of not making two videos at all. Of not making a video for Wednesday and a video for Friday, because my video that I wanted to do for Wednesday last week was over the starting the lightsaber series, and even then script is still not done. And then with the Batman stuff, Batman Arkham Asylum, I didn't have time. I was doing a whole bunch of things, and also my brother came home for the weekend. So we played games, and I totally forgot about it. So I'm hoping that I can try and get the lightsaber history stuff finished, and then start recording the audio tomorrow, and then hopefully get it out. If not Wednesday, then definitely probably next Monday. All right. So yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, leave your comments below. Tell me what you guys think about this. Consider giving a like and subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace, guys.